Welcome! You're listening to Making Relationships Work. We're a company focused on women and their marriage. We lead and teach women just like you how to grow into and access, whenever you need to, your wise woman self. The part of you who is deeply connected to your purpose, your innate wisdom, and your husband and family. We teach women in marriages how to rebuild trust and connection, to work through conflicts, no matter how deep, no matter how painful, and to lead your marriage to a place where the two of you experience marriage mastery. This podcast is about learning the systems and techniques that truly work to reconnect you back into your marriage so that you can experience the freedom that comes with a masterful marriage. Since this podcast is totally free, if you're getting tons of value and you want to support us and make sure that you get more of this good stuff, subscribe below and rate and review our podcast today. Now, on to the show. Hello, everybody. Hello, Women Making Marriages Work. Hello, Making Relationships Work. Hello to our podcast listeners. Hello to our YouTube listeners. Hello to our closed female-only Facebook group listeners, Women Making Marriages Work. I'm really happy to be here with you live tonight. We're going to be talking about something really important. We do that most weeks, I know, but this one I think is really going to resonate with you. And I've called it the superhero theory. And it's going to take me a couple of minutes just to unpack what I'm really trying to get at tonight. And I'm going to start with a story. So as you might know, I'm Australian. And in Australia, in regional Australia, there's lots of transitions away from manufacturing, and it's leaving small towns suffering. And we can add an overlay of the drought that we have here and what that does for our farming communities, which are in those regional towns as well. And so what we've got in our regional communities is hardship. And there's lots of local industry or government industry leaving. And then the staples or the dependables from the agriculture or farming communities are low. And so the yields and returns are low. So simply put, life is pretty tough in the Australian regional or outback community. I think it's similar for yourselves in America or wherever you're tuning in from in the world, in those smaller towns where there might have been mining or agriculture or a government organization that had 400 or 600 or 1,000 or 2,000 jobs for that small community. When that disappears, what's left is a lot of heartache. And I want to share why this analogy and how this analogy relates to your marriage, because I was watching a show over the weekend and it was around what locals are doing in a Tasmanian town to recover after losing industry and having a drought. And one of the things that they said during the hour-long episode was, there's not one big thing that can be done here. It's 1,000 little things that need to happen in order for this town of, I think it was 1,500 people, to find its feet. And it's about lots of little people, and not small people, but little individuals or small groups of people who will start small businesses that will attract tourism and will attract reconnection back into of young people back into the community, or putting on an event that becomes something people want to journey to. It's lots of small people here that are going to make a big difference. And why that's important is that when this small town closed the mine that was there, it was a logging area and it was also a mining area. And when they were closed down, 400 jobs in a 1,200 kind of sized community were lost within 6 months. And it happened pretty quickly from that perspective. The town was devastated and they lost a lot of people. And for a long time, that community just kept wishing that the mine would reopen, that the logging would re-begin, or that the government would send infrastructure or jobs locally so that the community would be saved. And that didn't happen. And so now it's 3 and 4 and 5 years later, and what they've learnt for themselves is that they each individually had a job to do in order to light the way for the entire community to grow and to find its feet. And that story, that analogy, it just fits so well in a marriage, don't you think? Because a marriage that's under pressure has two people in it, and both people are co-contributors to the demise or the crisis that the marriage is in. And there is no one quick fix that is going to get you sorted out. There is no like government coming in who's going to give you the equivalent of 400 jobs that's going to make everything all right again. There is no magic silver bullet that's going to magically undo the years that it took for your marriage to get here quite quickly. When it takes a marriage a period of time to go into a place where you're feeling separate and distant and disconnected and lonely and sad, it takes the same amount of time to rebuild from there and to grow into that mastery version of marriage. There isn't one thing that's going to save you here, and there's no one organization or silver bullet that you can ask to come in and save you themselves. The only person that's going to save you here is you. Now, most of the women in this group are here because their husbands are, for many reasons, resistant to therapy or resistant or feeling like they can't keep going in the marriage. And there is one person that is showing up to do it differently, and that is you, which I love. And what we have here with each one of you is the idea that you can do something every day. You can make a decision to do it differently, to do it better, to start creating towards the life that you dream of, to be your own superhero, to grow into your wise woman. And so, will you need to learn new things? Yes, you will. Will you need to repair really deep old wounds? Yes, you will. Will that be painful? Yes, it will. Is it going to be quick? Nope. Is it possible that you can shift fast and transform fast? Yes. And is it possible to do it without the other person? Sure, to a point. And then the two of you need to co-create the new marriage together. And so, what are we talking about really tonight? What we're talking about tonight is you understanding the leadership that you have that is innate within you. And we are also going to be talking about what it feels like when you start doing the work that hurts a bit. Because for those 400 people who lost their job, who had to move on and find another job, or who chose to stay and reinvent themselves and grow or blossom into a new version of themselves, they had to grow through that. And what I want you to all know, I want you to know this, is that when you set a goal of saving yourself by growing into a version of yourself that you need, you go through an initiation. You go through an initiation process to expand yourself and build the muscle and the skill set that you need to reach that goal. And in doing so, you touch kind of a pain body that lives inside of you. And this pain body is often the thing that we say, well, it hurts so much. How can this be the right thing? And here's the thing. The pain body is the shell that shows you that you're right at the edge of the transformation. You're right at the edge of the growth that needs to happen. And so if you're finding in your marriage that you're waiting for someone to come and save you, I want you to know that's not going to happen. But I want you to know you have an alternative, and that is to set the goal of being the person who changes the way your marriage looks and feels by you being the person who changes themselves first and who goes and gets the skills and the tools and the grit and determination required to turn your beautiful marriage around, because that's possible. And in doing so, you are going to grow into the woman you need to be to deliver that goal. just like those citizens of that small town in Tasmania grew into the people who ran small businesses that started to employ people, that generated income, that allowed that town to be able to re-bloom even after its darkest days. And so I want you to really, truly, deeply understand that everything starts with you, that pain is nothing to be feared. It tells you that you're close to transformation. It tells you that this is important, and it tells you to keep going. Humans are conditioned to avoid pain, and yet what we know for sure is that pain gives us a reason to struggle. And in that struggle, humans find value and purpose and meaning because we learn through struggle, we learn through adversity. When we avoid doing the work, we don't learn. When we resist doing the work, we're so busy telling ourselves stories that we literally can't hear our own self talking to us, asking us to do the work. And so I want you to recognize that you are ready to do the work. You are ready to grow. You are ready to hit that shell of limitations of where you are now and bust right through it so you can create the next version of yourself that you really want. Because this is possible. Not only possible, it's literally part of your journey. And so here's what you're going to do. You're going to watch my masterclass. I'll pop the link below. And you are also going to sign up for a call with us. And we're going to get you really clear on where you are, where you need to go, and what the exact right strategy for you specifically is. This is a free breakthrough call. It lasts around 45 minutes. Sometimes people need a little bit more care, and it goes to an hour and a quarter or so. We gift these to people 6 days a week, 5 calls a day, and I have a team of people doing them. You're very welcome to join us and to get really clear on yourself. But the people we want to talk to are the ones who are ready for transformation, the ones who are ready to be the leader and the superhero they've been waiting for, and the ones who are ready to shed their old skin and grow into something beautiful that is perfectly aligned to their own journey in this life. So, masterclass, then book a call. Now, if you have any questions, you can leave them below. I love hearing from you, and I'll answer them. Otherwise, much love to you, my darlings. Much love to you, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye, darlings. Thank you for tuning into today's show. If you're feeling fired up and you're ready to grow and you want to know more about how to do that, here is what I want you to do now. I want you to watch my marriage masterclass. This masterclass will show you how my clients have turned their struggling marriages into thriving marriages, even without their husband's buy-in. How my clients have gone from cycles of poor communication, disconnect and loneliness to being teammates and soulmates with their husbands again, even after they've already tried everything. And the proven system my clients use to start transforming their marriages in minutes, not years, because life is too precious to waste one more minute in an unhappy and unfulfilling marriage. So if this is what you're looking for, I want you to click the link below and take a look at my masterclass.